Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for the Community of Practice introduction as part of our Open Pedagogy Community of Practice. Today is August 24th, 2021, and we're just going to go through a summary of the slides that were presented in our Community of Practice session, which is an introduction to Community of Practice. The first thing I'll share with you about communities of practice is that they are messy. Just like this kingfisher, he's adorable, he is sitting on his little branch, but his feathers are a little ruffled. And for communities of practice to be really successful and for us to learn as a community, we have to get comfortable with each other, and we have to be ready and comfortable to ruffle each other's feathers and challenge each other so that we can move through some of those learning stages that we will encounter around open pedagogy, open practices, and all things open. There's three different areas where we can split up visually what makes up a community of practice. First of all, there is, of course, the community. This is the relationships that we build with one another through discussions and activities and learning. This is the core of the work that we're doing and the function in which we do it. The second is the practice. So this is the functional things that we're sharing with each other, the body of knowledge, the methods, the stories, and even the solutions or the tools that we may develop together. The third one is the domain. So this is really the key areas of issue or interest that we share collectively. For this situation, we're looking specifically at open pedagogy, so that is our shared domain of practice, and the practice. When we look at the member base of a community of practice, there's varying levels of involvement, and those aren't linear. There's something that is fairly cyclical. We can find that there's a core team of individuals who contribute to the planning and coordination of the activities of the community for one term or for a full year. And that team may cycle or change depending on the topics and the direction that the community expresses in terms of their desire for learning. We also see here members who engage actively, occasionally, or peripherally. And the important thing about engaging in a community of practice is not only knowing or identifying what is most appropriate for yourself in terms of learning, but also respecting what level of involvement the fellow members wish to have. So we may find that we have a whole slew of individuals who are peripherally involved, or you may find yourself needing to step into that peripherally involved state. And understanding that that is still learning. It's not required that you're heavily active or heavily involved or heavily collaborative to be part of a community of practice. This is about respecting each individual's involvement and respecting your own level of involvement and what's right and gentle for you at this time in your life. As an example, we look at this diagram of essentially the constellation of members that can move around and shift and connect in different ways. When a community of practice first starts, you may find yourself in that center circle, and most of the members are in that center circle. And as we grow and as we develop and as members take on different levels of responsibilities or initiative, we can find different pockets emerging in different sections of the constellation where these little dots that you're seeing on here may shift. They may move into a circle on the far right, and then they may pull back into the center, and then they might pull out to the far left. And these types of activities are where communities of practice get really exciting, because then what we can see is members collectively self-organizing into a group, doing exploration or inquiry, and then bringing the information and knowledge back into the group so that we can all spin off in our own directions, explore something, and then bring it back and share our knowledge. When joining or starting a community of practice, we want to anchor on what our collective learning goals are. With the Open Pedagogy Community of Practice, the first session we held really focused on what is the core question. What do we want to learn? And from there, we analyzed what was collected, what the feedback was from the member base, and tried to generate themes to capture what the key outcomes could be for different learning activities going forward. So the biggest takeaway I would like you to leave with today is thinking about the structure of a community of practice and thinking about what your core learning goal is. What is the essential question that you have that has brought you to join this community? And if you have that, then looking at the levels of engagement and what may best serve you to achieve that learning goal. The more explicit we can be about our learning goals or our problem statements, the better. This way we can collectively surround one another and share our knowledge and know exactly what each other are looking for. In that regard, I look at this picture and I imagine that this kingfisher is not flying on his own. He's flying towards his fall, which is the word for flock for this type of bird. So I encourage you to think about what your learning goals are and have them ready at hand before you enter the next community of practice session or before you join a new community of practice. This way you can really articulate to the members what you're looking for, how they can help you, and perhaps in turn how you can help them.